We should talk about the trip. People are wondering what trip we're talking about.
We should. Are we do that now? Or are we going to wait till the podcast starts?
Oh, we haven't started yet?
Should we?
Yeah, we should start.
All right.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of all ages, it's the Outer Belt Podcast, and I'm Patrick.
I'm Chili. And he's Jerry Bear.
And he's Jerry Bear, yeah.
What's up, everybody?
Silent but violent.
Oh.
No.
Ah.
That's all right.
We'll work on that.
That's all right. We'll work on that timing.
Yeah. We're saying, the trip this past week.
This past week. We took a trip.
We took a trip. Where'd we go? We went to Atlanta, Georgia.
Mm-hmm. From Columbus to Atlanta, Georgia.
Yes. And what did we do in Atlanta?
We visited that amazing Delta Lounge with the outdoor seating.
Yes.
That you mentioned in a previous podcast.
Yes.
Got to see the different planes coming in, learn about different types of engines. Because we could, you know them by sound.
We did talk about engines, didn't we?
Engines.
Yeah. I forgot about that. That was fun.
We just hung out and waited for our next flight.
It was a long delay. I mean, not delay. It was a long layover.
What
we were there for
layover?
About 3 hours, wasn't it?
Plus a delay. So it was about 3 hours we hung out there.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was nice.
It was nice. Beautiful day.
It was a gorgeous day. I mean, it actually, at one point, I was sitting there. I'd already shed my jacket. I was about to take my shirt off, but then I realized airport.
Yeah.
And I looked up, and they had the heaters on, and I'm like, I mean, I understand earlier that day.
It was a chilly morning.
It was a chilly morning. You needed to have them. But at this point, isn't that just wasting electricity?
It really is.
You would think Delta would be trying to save money and not pump heat out, but it was beautiful nonetheless. We were able, we started out with not the best seating. We were up at a bar, and you couldn't really see anything, and not a bar like a where they're serving drinks, but like
it was a long high top table.
Thank you.
It seated like 10 people.
Yeah, 10 or 12 people.
Yeah,
and then and it had like a big mirror wall that was blocking the view of the runway. Yep. I'm like, why are you going to sit outside and then hide everything? But anyways, and so we just scouted out. And watched everybody, and eventually someone moved, and we grabbed a nice little table. And as soon as we got over there, we kind of got our breeze, and that was nice.
It was nice.
And we're able to just sit out there, smell a little Jet A, a lot of Jet A. We were high. It was
we were high
on
Jet
so
A.
much exhaust. It was like whoo-wee.
They don't test for that in a random, do they?
No, not
okay, good. Man,
the good news is all your drug screen came back negative. Your alcohol came back negative, but we need to talk about your consumption of jet fumes. No, it was. It ended up being a great day. The food was pretty good. They had potatoes and mashed potatoes and
that beef stew.
That
beef stew was nice. It was
very good. It
had
the gravy, the stew part of it was really nice, but the meat was cooked perfect. It was super tender. It
reminded me of Dinty Moore beef stew.
I couldn't agree with you more if I knew what you're talking about.
You never had Dinty Moore beef stew in the can? If not, you're a better man for it, because it didn't remind me of that at all. It was a really good stew.
Oh, I was going to say, at this point, you could be messing with me. I have no idea what you're talking about.
No, it wouldn't mean, Dinty Moore was passable, but yeah, it's not.
I've had Denny's stew, and this was much better than Denny's.
This was canned.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, canned stew.
Cool.
Yeah,
I mean, it sounds like not really, but
the food was actually really good there.
It was really good. I had a nice sandwich too. It was a chicken salad sandwich, and it was like chunky chicken. You know what I mean?
That's
like
the best kind.
Yeah, it was really good on a Hawaiian sweet roll. Hello.
Oh.
But let's talk real quick about the bar staff.
The bar staff,
because we did enjoy a couple of adult beverages.
We did
per hour.
As you do.
As you do. And we were flying. We weren't literally flying the plane. And the first bartender we met up with was no basic.
No basic.
No basic.
That's it. No basic. Yes.
And we met No Basic, and she was awesome. She was so nice, real sweetheart. But we were talking about. We said we went to Atlanta. But ultimately, we ended up in Dallas, and she was talking to us about how she's going to Austin next month for South by Southwest, and she's She's a rapper, upcoming, working on making it big time. And so sweet, so nice. Really enjoyed her company. It was awesome. And made some killer drinks. I mean, she was
did.
she's very sweet.
She didn't overdo it, so it was just strictly alcohol and too strong. She made a nice balanced cocktail.
Absolutely,
which is important.
You could tell there was skill there. And then I went back a little later on the other side, just because I happened to grab some food. And there was another lady there. She, I didn't catch her name, but she was also a sweetheart. She actually made some. I just got a simple Jack and Coke. I'm basic like that.
No basic.
I am basic.
No, sorry. Yes, basic.
Yes, basic.
Yes, basic.
But she was making some Mastercraft cocktails there with Melissa, and just made some really beautiful, nice looking stuff. It was really cool.
Yeah.
Always fun when you have good support like that.
Can I just say, buttermilk can be challenging to pour a cocktail for. And this young lady was amazing with listening to what she likes and putting it together for her and making her happy.
Absolutely.
Which is something I still haven't done in 5 years of us being together.
Well, you'll get there.
I'm working on it.
Just keep trying.
I'm working on it. Yeah.
If at first you don't succeed,
try again.
That's right.
Yeah. You know what? I realize this is kind of an aside, but this is Buttermilk Melissa and my 5th anniversary month of being together.
Oh, congratulations.
We don't have an actual day, but March is the month that we claim as our anniversary month.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. Now back to the story.
So we'll be sure to wish Melissa a happy being with you.
I will.
Month.
I will. Or, please send your condolences to Melissa. She's dealt with me for 5 years.
I already have. I just want her to hear it from you. So, had a great time there. It was a lot of fun. Ended up leaving there. And now, so if you've ever been to Atlanta's airport, you know that they are, it's basically rows of little airports.
Right.
So, and I say little, each one has like 60 gates. So it's rows of big airports. So we flew in on, so it starts with T, A, B, C, D, E, F. And we flew in on B, and we had to take the subway over
all the way to F.
All the way to F. Went to the lounge there, had fun. It's on the 3rd floor, and you come out of the basement. So
you're above the planes, and you're up there.
Yep. And then it was like, all right, it's time to go. So we left there and had to go back down to the basement all the way to A, and then try to figure out where the airplane was. And we got over there, and they weren't even loading, were they?
No, they weren't loading it when we got there.
Yeah, there's a crowd around the airplane, and we're like, wow, we thought we were going to be late. And
there was a delay.
There was a delay.
But they weren't loading yet.
That delay had come in from Vegas, and I guess there was some issue in Vegas that made them come out late. But
probably.
It was a that flight over to Atlanta was very enjoyable. Or to
Dallas.
Dallas was very enjoyable.
Comfortable.
Real chill, relaxed. My seatmate, because you and Melissa sat next to each other, and then I sat next to y'all, and
across the aisle.
And there was another person there I was talking with. He was a really nice guy. I got a little nervous because started out really chatty, which is fine. But if we're doing a 2.5-hour flight, I don't really want to chat the whole time. Right. I had a podcast to listen to, and just kind of wanted to take some time and relax a little bit because I knew we were going to have to hit the ground in Dallas and get after it. So eventually, I'd say probably around 10,000 feet after they came around and brought us our pretzels or whatever, he went to his movie, and I listened to my podcast, and just had a really good flight all the way across. But you alluded to it earlier. We came into Dallas and hit that runway
hard.
So hard.
Yeah.
I mean, it hit so hard that I thought we were going to do a go around. I was really it was
we
like
hit hard.
It was
literally bounced.
Yes, we bounced completely off the runway and then re-landed back on it twice.
Yes.
And I really thought, okay, they're just going to give it full power, get us back in the air, circle around and try again. Yeah. It was ridiculous, but they didn't. They planted that last one on the ground and rode us out. But I mean, everybody, the flight attendant looked at me, and she said it was my fault.
It was your fault.
Yes, I think she was joking, but
Okay.
still, because as we were
yes.
coming in,
Yes.
the plane was going side to side,
Yeah.
and you could definitely tell there was a lot of wind. It was fighting. It was going side to side, and so I made a flying side to side gesture, and I guess I jinxed the landing.
Well,
or
and
something.
then you put your hands up like you were on a roller coaster.
I did put my hands like
coming down the hill. Yeah.
It felt like that.
It certainly was your fault. You jinxed it.
Yeah, but we made it safely. That's really, it's not. Everybody says that's all that counts. It's not all that counts. It's the majority of what counts.
It is, yeah.
But it's not all that counts.
The rest of it doesn't matter. I was telling Buddy about before we took off. I have a pair of draws that are my lucky flying draws.
Yeah.
And I told her, I said, these are my lucky flying draws. I got to have them. I got to wear them when I travel. I said, I guess I wouldn't know if they weren't lucky, but so far they've been lucky. So I wear them every time I fly.
I have a NASA shirt that I usually wear when we're flying.
Yeah.
Not always, but usually. It's it's a weird, and funny superstitions or
It's
not.
funny.
It's just like, that's not really a thing. But
No, but again, I
better.
wouldn't know if they weren't lucky.
Yeah. Well, you only get to wear your unlucky draws once.
Just once, only time.
Your unlucky T-shirt only once. So no, we landed there. Obviously, got in the taxi cab. I booked us a hotel. I literally booked us a hotel on that flight because this was kind of last minute situation, and ended up being a really nice place.
Really nice place.
Nilo,
Very nice place.
Nilo hotels. They have them in New York. They have them in Texas. They have them in a few other places, but they're real like brick buildings. With and everything on the inside is very modern or very contemporary. Concrete floors, concrete roofs. The bathrooms, I'll just say different.
Yes, definitely different. Very narrow.
Very narrow. Very
yeah.
narrow. And large shower. But in like half the shower wall is opaque, so it kind of like you can see it a little bit from the other side of the room. It's a neat place.
The sink is weird, though.
The sink is so strange.
I mean, the sink is like 8 inches deep by 14 inches long.
It's very odd. Yeah.
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 But, it was a nice contemporary style room.
Comfortable bed.
Comfortable bed.
Yeah.
It was. I'd stay there again.
Yeah. For me, the important thing is the air conditioner got to sub-freezing.
There you go.
So that worked. And then, so I've stayed at Nilo's quite a few times, and this was the first time I went down to the bar and actually had dinner down there.
Yeah.
And the burger was great.
Burger was good. It was really good.
Of course, I ordered the burger, and then a few minutes later, the guy sitting next to us comes out with steak frites. And I've had steak frites before. It's a ribeye steak with and French fries.
Yeah.
Well, this was ribeye steak in a sauce that had been chopped up and shredded and poured over French fries like they're nachos.
It was kind of like poutine without the cheese.
It looked outstanding.
It did.
And the guy's like, oh, yeah, it's the best thing on the menu. And I'm like, well, I ordered 5 minutes ago.
And that came from our bartender, Ryan.
Yes.
He was like, yeah, it's the best thing on the menu.
Like, sound off.
You told us the mac and cheese we didn't want, but you didn't tell us we wanted the steak frites.
Yeah, and I do appreciate that, by the way. If I go to order a side and you say you don't want it, I appreciate that.
It's good stuff.
Yeah.
Ryan was amazing, though.
He was.
He poured some really good cocktails.
Yep.
He I forget the word I'm trying to think of now in my head.
Sociable.
Very social, but very friendly. Took care of the entire bar the whole time, but made time to talk to people. And again, when Buttermilk asked for a particular cocktail a certain way, he had feedback for it, was willing to accommodate her, and just did an amazing job.
Yep.
For a young man, he was mid-20s.
Yeah, I think
and
so.
understood he understood his craft of bartending.
Very much so.
Yeah.
Very much so. That was a very good time. And then, of course, we left there or spent the night there, and the next day it was business, and we went over to the place where the trucks were at, and we picked them up.
How many trucks did you pick up?
So we picked up 2.5. No, we picked up 3 trucks, and immediately I saw something with the truck that wasn't broken. It was something I didn't like.
Right, just not our style.
Just not our style of doing things. And it was a sleeper company that's actually based out of Dallas, built that truck. And so I knew, okay, well, if we leave the truck here, we can get it fixed, and then we'll just fly in and grab it later.
Right.
So we ended up leaving one truck in Dallas at AA Sleeper Company, and they're going to make the couple modifications we asked for. And then we ended up driving the other 2 trucks back to Columbus, and Melissa flew home.
Yes,
So,
she did.
Yep. So it ended up being a very productive week. The driving back, it's been a hot minute since I've driven 1,100 miles.
Me too.
And felt good to stretch that muscle.
It did. It did. It really did.
Yeah.
I told you, I think I told Melissa as well, I like driving. I really do like driving. I have fun with it. I was concerned about our timetable of getting those 2 trucks back here in 2 days.
Yeah.
Because there's other work to be done here. I thought I would be stopping a lot more than I did. But once I got going, it was like, yeah, well, let's run 7 hours, Patrick, and then take our half-hour break and keep moving. We didn't because that would be stupid. But it felt like, let's go.
5.
We did do 5.
Something, yeah.
We did do 5. And if it hadn't been for that way station we had to pull through that was closed, having a Porta-John right there, which just made sense to stop and go.
It did.
Why not?
It did. It did. And you were the one that was like, hey, you want to get this shot? And so I pulled over and I was like, I'm not going to go. And then I sat there and I was like, well, this is dumb. Let me just go give it a shot.
Let's use it.
And thankfully it was not disgusting. It was a Porta-John, but it wasn't disgusting.
Yeah.
And so no, I mean we pushed pretty good. Ended up going, if you've ever driven from, say, like Cincinnati to Memphis or Memphis Cincinnati or something like that, there's a couple routes you can go. One is through Nashville and up 65, and that's generally the quickest route.
Sure.
But on this particular day when we were doing it, there was an accident or some road construction, and then there was an accident in Nashville.
Yeah.
And it made it the longer route. So we ended up going up north from Memphis over towards Paducah.
Yeah.
Or through Dyersburg and towards Paducah, by the land between the lakes.
Hit 69 and went up north on 69.
Yeah, and then over on the Kentucky Western Parkway or something like that, and then came out in Elizabethtown, which, if you've not done that drive before, it's beautiful.
It's a gorgeous drive.
It's a gorgeous drive.
Really is.
It really is so nice.
Yeah.
It's a nice break from, I-40 is just, it's a lot of traffic. It's very industrial, and when it's not industrial, it's pine trees, like our oak trees. It's just, I don't know, kind of a boring drive.
It's kind of pedantic. Yeah.
Kind of what?
Pedantic.
Sure.
Yeah. Google it.
I will. And so it going up that other route was really nice. I enjoyed it. Only downside of that is you are like a long ways between truck stops, whereas I-40 has tons
all over the place. Yeah.
But like we said, we didn't really actually need it. Ended up stopping for our 30-minute break outside of Elizabethtown at a Love's, and
got some fuel, got some food.
Yeah, and then
kept on moving, made it home.
Finish at home. Yeah, drive back, and it was good. I tell you what kicked my tail, I think, more than the drive was actually the hotel part. Like, just not being able to get good sleep at the hotel,
right,
and not feeling refreshed. And so that kind of a little bit kicked my tail on the drive. It wasn't so bad that I couldn't get it done, but the next day when we got back, I was dragging it a little bit.
Yeah, I was dragging a little bit yesterday too. But for me, it was kind of, get home. It was a long day, but it's what you do. Get home. I didn't have anything to eat. So we got home about 8 o'clock, 8:30 or so.
Yeah. That time.
It was too late to eat. I wasn't hungry. I was just done.
Yeah.
So, get home and kind of try and wind down from the drive. And then we got up yesterday morning and we started our shift. We pushed our shift earlier at the yard. Mm-hmm. So getting up earlier, actually getting up same time as usual, but having less time to kind of build up
morning
to the day.
Routine
morning routine and getting going. And it was a long day yesterday.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or that day. Whatever day that was.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and then I came out. I know that I came out to the yard that day, and we worked through those trucks. And, again, we were just in Texas where it was almost 80 degrees, and then I go to the yard, and I'm like, yeah, we're going to have a work day, so I'm going to be able to help y'all and work through these trucks and get them all ready for us and everything. And it was 32 degrees outside, and I'm
cold.
like, oh, my gosh.
And we appreciated your help. We really did.
It felt good again, stretch that muscle.
Yeah.
It's weird going from doing that every day to rocking a desk chair every day. It's a It's a big switch.
You change.
I've put on some weight because of it, and but yeah, it was nice to get all that work done. After I dropped you off after from driving those trucks, I did hit up a Taco Bell.
I figured you might.
Yeah,
I figured you might.
Yeah. Well, they were like, "Hey, Patrick, what's up?" Like
the usual.
Yeah. I tried not to. I called back to Eric and I was like, "Hey, you want me to bring you some Taco Bell back?"
Right.
Waiting on him to say no.
No,
you
so
know,
you
it'd be
wouldn't.
fine.
So
And
you
then,
wouldn't do it too.
yeah, and then he was like, "Yeah, I'll take a quesadilla," and I was like,
"Damn it!"
Well, I was kind of excited. I was like, "Cool."
Damn it! Now I gotta eat Taco Bell.
Yeah. So no, it ended up being a good time. I pushed myself to stay open. Lord, that's funny. To stay up till midnight. No, actually, I think 11.
That's your usual, though.
Yeah, it is my usual, but I was tired enough I could have gone to bed, but I wanted to make sure I got back on my normal routine.
Sure, that makes sense.
And
leave it to me to change the routine right before I drive 601 miles in a day for the next day to start my day earlier. I was smart, Vincent.
Yeah, it
needed to be done, though.
It's what we do.
It's what we do. It needs to be done. We have quite a few teams starting in trucks that need to be turned quickly.
Yes.
So it needs to be done. So we do what we need to do.
Absolutely.
Whatever it takes.
That's a song in it. Whatever it takes. I don't know. So while we were in Atlanta, sitting on the dock of the bay, enjoying our Calypso coolers. No, we were sitting in Atlanta at the Sky Club. We were admiring the airplanes taking off, and there was one that really stood out. And by one, I mean there were like 7, but it was one brand.
Yeah.
And that was
Spirit
Airlines. But earlier, we were talking about our time in Atlanta, and we were sitting out on the Sky Lounge, enjoying ourselves a cocktail and watching the airplanes go by. And there was one airplane that we talked about that, well, not just one airplane. There was a bunch of them, like 7 or 8 of them.
Yeah.
But it was one brand that really stood out and was just interesting. It wasn't a Delta plane. There was just one that stood out, and we were like, wow, that really makes a difference. You can tell why they did that. And that was, of course,
Spirit
Airlines.
Yeah.
And Spirit Airlines is an ultra-low-cost airline, and they are today's non-sponsor.
Wow.
So when you need to
Can they afford to non-sponsor our show? Because they're, like you said, a discount airline.
They cannot afford to not
sponsor.
That's a lot.
That's a lot of negatives in there. That's like a quadruple negative. Jeez.
So, anyways, they are not our non-sponsor of the day. They are excellent at getting you from point A to point B reasonably on time and safely.
Okay.
That is where they believe the extent ends. Comfort, no place for that.
No, just get you there. Pick 3: on time, comfortable, safe. Pick 2.
Yeah. That's exactly it. If you want comfort, that costs an extra. I mean, I remember. Yeah. So I flew with them a while back, and I was looking at all their like offerings and everything when I booked the ticket. The ticket was like $29, and I'm like, oh, that's pretty cheap. And it was from San Diego to Las Vegas.
Okay, short flight.
Yep, so short flight. So I was like, we'll do Spirit. I want to give them a shot. Never flown them, and I'm not. I've heard their reputation. I'm not going to fly them for a long trip. And the ticket was like $29. And I was like, cool. Then they were like, if you want a seat, it's $10. And I'm like, what's my option here? Like, do I get to like stand over the captain as we take off? Like, exactly. I don't understand. Like, am I serving for that price if I become a flight attendant for the day? So
they're like the Walmart of airlines. You have to do self-service.
Yeah. And like my book sack, which is considered a personal item on every other airline in the world, was not. It was too big. Yeah, it's like, oh, you brought something larger than a fanny pack. Well, that's a carry-on, and now you have to pay an extra $15 for it. And
for those of us not from Louisiana, a book sack is what we call a backpack.
Backpack, yes, sorry. And then which it's funny, I call it a book sack. I don't keep books in it, but anyways. So then I have my actual luggage, which was like $40 or $50 to put it in the belly of the airplane. And so I'm looking at the math and I'm like, well, this costs more than flying Delta does.
Yeah.
Like, I was like, this is ridiculous. But I did it anyways. Ended up being a lot of fun. And we ended up, so it was like 4 or 5 of us, and there ended up being a captain that was our pilot that was sitting next to us. And so we were just completely one row all the way across the airplane. We ended up throwing down, had so much fun. The cabin crew was a lot of fun. They were really upbeat, and they said the flights into Vegas are a lot of fun because everybody's excited to get there.
Yeah, the flights out of Vegas are not fun at all.
Not fun at all, no. But they served some really cool foods and peanuts and
pretzels.
Well, no, I didn't get those because those were like $3 each.
Bet,
so I got a bag of Gardettos.
Oh,
yeah. $19 and a and a Jack and Coke for like $26.
30, yeah.
Yeah. And we had a fun. I mean, that flight is so. If I didn't have a seat and I had to stand, I could have stood. I mean, that's such a short flight.
Yeah.
But I was really surprised because it actually was a lot nicer than I was expecting. It was pretty comfortable. The seats didn't recline. There wasn't petty things like padding on the seat.
Who needs that?
It's
only an hour and a half flight, maybe an hour flight.
Yeah, they don't have onboard entertainment or Wi-Fi or anything else. But again, that's not what they promise. They promise we will get you there from point A to point B safely
and on time.
Or close to it.
Close enough.
So that is our corporate non-sponsor. We appreciate them for not sponsoring our show, and it also correlates to the fact that we have a Spirit Airlines airplane on my desk. That is the airplane of the day.
Can I describe that plane? The livery, is it?
Please do.
It's a yellow plane. It is school bus or safety yellow with the word Spirit written in all lowercase letters and big letters, though, across half the plane.
Yes.
And also the entire tail says the word Spirit on it. So it is a big yellow school bus with the word Spirit written across it.
Yes.
They're just transportation. They get you from point A to point B, period.
It's the only airplane that you can see from 30,000 feet. Like, just you stand there and you look up, you're like, that's Spirit.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is
It almost matches Jerry's sweatshirt today.
It is. That's actually the reason we have it. It's not the coincidence of them being our non-sponsor. That's purely coincidence. The reason we have this is today Jerry's outfit is brought to us by Spirit Airlines, and it reminded me so much of the airplane that's how we chose it. But this is an Airbus A320 Neo. So this is one of those. Oh yeah, this is one of those really quiet airplanes.
Okay.
Which is cool. It's like we were talking last couple weeks ago about the Delta A321, and it's like a workhorse. It's loud, it's fuel inefficient, whatever. But they're a premium legacy airline, right? And then you got Spirit, who's like a budget airline. How cheap can we possibly fly you from point A to point B?
Right.
Flying the state of the art, brand new, fuel efficient,
not cheap,
cheap, great for the environment, airplane. So that was exciting to be able to fly with them on such a cool plane. So that's why I ended up buying it, because it ended up being a really great, fun trip. And let's face it, if you're going to Vegas, you want to start with a bang. And
yes, you do.
And that's what we did.
You do. Yeah.
So that's all I got to say about that.
It's a cool plane. I mean, if you look at it and think about the name Spirit, and you go, "Oh, they're going to be crap," but that's a great story. I've never flown them. I've flown Allegiant, another low cost airline.
Yes.
That,
I have not yet.
I've flown them from Los Angeles to Oregon when I was moving up there. We flew them recently, just in October.
We'll go with that.
Kill me. No, it was actually in February. We flew them here from Columbus down to Orlando.
2 weeks ago. It was 2 weeks ago.
It was 2 weeks ago, yeah. But we flew them down to Orlando, and it's inexpensive. We only went for a weekend, so we didn't have. We had carry-on. We paid for a carry-on, and we had our book sacks on our backs that we actually were able to use as a personal item.
Nice.
But the carry-on, we paid $45 or something like that for. So in something like that, it actually worked out very well price-wise. So we didn't have to check a bag.
Yeah.
They don't charge you for a seat. They do charge you to choose your own seat.
Okay.
But they don't charge you for a seat, so you're not stuck in the lavatory just standing around waiting.
It literally on the apps on the website said add a seat.
It's kind of like at the Oscars, all the big award shows, they have the seat fillers.
Yes.
So if one of the stars goes up on stage or goes to the bathroom, they ask somebody to come sit in their seat. I think on Spirit, you stand in the lavatory, and if someone needs to use that bathroom, you go sit in their seat while they pee, and then when they come back, you go back in the lavatory. It just the way it works out.
Yeah, or if they traveling with their color guard. So on
negative, by the way, negative.
I heard on the it's good.
Yeah.
On the I heard on the Allegiant they make all their staff pledge.
They do make the pledge. Yeah, I pledge allegiance.
I pledge allegiance.
Yeah.
To the
airline.
Yeah. Eric
Actually,
said
they pledge allegiance to the customer to get them there safely and on time.
Eric just said, "We've got Spirit." Yes, we do. I always think every time I see their planes, I think going up to the Spirit in the sky.
Oh yeah,
Yeah. It's a great play on names. They're actually in the middle of getting bought out by JetBlue. We'll see if the DOJ will allow it to happen or not. So we might see the end of Spirit here in a couple of years. But they serve a purpose. They do a great.
They do a great job.
Great job at it. So,
yeah.
I got nothing. It sound like you ever start talking and you're like, it'll come to me.
Nothing coming out.
JetBlue just announced a new service from JFK to Paris.
See what I did there? I saw that.
See.
I saw that. I have actually flown across the ocean on JetBlue. Do I need to wait to bring that plane out to give you the story, or just give you
I think if you can give us the brief breakdown of the story now, but once you bring that plane out, you can give us the full story.
Okay. It was nice.
There you go. And now you know the rest of the story.
It caught my attention for the price because they were saying like economy is going to be like $400 round trip.
Yeah.
And
round trip, really?
Their Mint class was only going to be like $1,800.
Yeah. And which one are you going to fly?
I would definitely be Mint class.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is there any chocolate with that Mint?
No, there's juleps.
Because if there's chocolate with it, I can't get buttermilk on there. She doesn't like chocolate mint.
Mint's nice. It really is. It is their version of business class.
Right.
I have things to say about it.
Okay.
When the time comes,
you'll talk about it.
I'll talk about it. But
Appreciate that.
It's yeah, it was a flight.
Did you get there safely?
We got there safely.
On time?
On time.
Were you comfortable?
It was a flight.
Okay.
So
right.
I'll
pick two.
Yeah, we'll talk more about that when I bring that airplane out. But it was we flew to London, so wasn't quite to Paris, but yeah,
close enough.
Close enough. Could have gotten the Channel, I guess.
Yeah, get over there. Sure.
Yeah.
That's what it's there for.
That's what it's there for.
Take the cheapest flight and then pay enough money to make the more expensive flight.
Worth it. Yeah, but I mean, all you got going to France or Paris is those cheap economy airlines like Air France.
Have you ever been on the Channel, the train through the Channel?
I've not been on the Channel or through the Channel.
I'm just curious to know what it's like. I remember reading in Popular Science ages ago when I was a young lad about the construction of the Channel.
Yes.
Because it used to be just ferries across the Channel.
Yeah.
From London to Paris.
See. And
then they built this channel, which is a tunnel across that's under the channel. So hence the word channel.
Yes.
It's got different levels, I believe. Is it levels or is it side by side? I don't recall. But the train goes on one level, I believe, and then they have motor vehicle traffic on a different level through the same tunnel.
No.
They don't do that. That's what I saw in Popular Science.
So there's 3 tunnels side by side.
Oh, I see. Okay.
There's 2 train tunnels, one in each direction, and then there's a service tunnel that goes between them, and it's big enough for like a car. That way, if they ever needed to get anything out there, they could without stopping.
Right. The train.
But you have to put your car on the train.
Okay.
And ride it across. I do remember them talking about doing a motorway through there because it's really not that long at all. I mean, it's long for a tunnel, but it's not like long. Like you could drive it; it wouldn't be that big of a deal. But they never did. I mean, it costs is ridiculous to
Sure.
build that tunnel. So
I guess there's also safety considerations too. If you get an accident down there and
absolutely,
all kinds of stuff. Excuse me.
yeah, absolutely. And they've got the trains, they've got the trolley. I mean
The ferry still.
well, I think they only got one ferry now.
Really?
But they've got the like the cars, so you can park your car on it.
On
The
the
train
train,
cars,
yeah.
and then you can get out and you have a nice meal or whatever on the train. I mean, it's
Okay.
it's a nice train.
Nice.
But yeah,
I think I'll add that to the bucket list.
it does seem like it would be fun to do.
Yeah.
Problem would be, how do you get there? Like,
You take JetBlue for $400 in coach or $1,800 in Mint.
I know, but you could also fly Virgin Atlantic, which is
Okay.
an amazing airline, or you could
All right.
fly Delta,
Delta,
United, American.
British
you don't fly
Airways.
American. And I didn't say that. You could fly BA, British Airways. You could fly. Then you go to France, La Champagne. What's it?
I have no idea.
There, it's a company CH. I want to say La Champagne, but that's not right. They're
Close
flying.
enough.
They're flying like JFK to France or to Paris on all business class planes. So it's like
Really? All business class.
it's like the opposite of
But
Spirit.
But how
It's,
much is it though?
it's not bad because it's all business class.
But is it $1,800 like flying JetBlue Mint?
Yeah, I think it's around $3,600 round trip.
Yeah. See, and I think Jerry was that $1,800 round trip?
Yes.
Yeah.
It
see,
was?
That's twice as much.
But it's just money.
It's just money. It's just money.
You could fly on La
Yeah.
Premiere over there for like $10,000 each way.
Can I get a raise? No. That's
Yeah,
the obvious answer was no. So I guess I'm going to fly JetBlue Mint.
I can get you a taller seat.
Yeah, I wish this only had air and I could just
Yeah,
raise
right.
myself up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You hear the compressor
Jer-
kick on mid recording.
Jerry would love editing that stuff.
Stuff. Jerry would love editing what?
That stuff.
Oh, that's funny. We haven't really talked much about trucks, have we?
We-
Oh, no, we did. We
well-
talked about their trip. We picked them up. So what we bought, there's been a lot of people I've seen asking us about these trucks we picked up, so I thought I'd clear the air. There's a company out of Texas that they do a lot of tractor-trailer work. They're huge with Landstar, a lot of flatbeds, things like that.
Okay.
And they decided to try FedEx and see how that went, and Panther as well. And it's just so different from their business
Right.
that they decided we're just going to focus on our core business.
That makes sense.
And so they offered them up to us, and we bought them that way. They were like, one's got 80,000 miles on it. I mean, it just
It's a
made,
nice truck.
yeah, they're nice trucks. It made sense just to go ahead and pick them up. So that's why I went to Texas. No, normally we don't buy trucks out of Texas, but that was the reason. So, and we've got a good relationship with that person, and like I said, they're killing it on their tractor trailer side over at Landstar. So, yeah, that's kind of the story behind those.
Yeah. Good trucks.
Yep. So now we'll take the next few weeks and we'll get them Hyfield.
High filterized.
Hyfield is, yes.
Yeah.
So, we do things like put the dish network in the trucks, and
Well, we don't do Dish Network. We do DirecTV.
that's what I meant. We
Yep.
do things like put the DirecTV
Yep.
in the trucks, and then we do the Centromatics on the wheels
Right.
and tires, and go through, and we have certain load bars and straps and all that stuff that we do a certain way, and so we
kind of go above and beyond what the carriers require
yes.
for those things. So we'll get that stuff in there and give them a good cleaning.
Yes.
Make sure they're ready to go out of the gate and don't need a whole lot of. Well, don't need. We like to say they don't need anything when they leave the yard. There's things that we can't predict, right?
Absolutely.
I mean, we just drove 1,100 miles from Dallas back here to Columbus without any issues. It could leave the yard with a team and go 5 miles down the road and mechanical breakdown that we couldn't foresee because things do break down.
Oh yeah, we just had one the other day. I don't even know if you found out about it or not. The driver's side seat leaks air after a few hundred miles.
After a few hundred miles.
Yeah, which is that's not crazy. I've seen that before quite a few times. But again, if you don't drive it a few hundred miles,
Yeah, exactly.
if you drive it, 13 miles to the nearest
Right.
to a shop, how would you know? It's so there's those kind of things where it's like, well, how could we have even seen that?
Well, we had the truck that Melissa, my first truck, we called it Bagheera.
Mhm.
We got out of that truck and got into Nala, And the next team that got in that truck had no problems with it.
Yeah.
When they changed trucks, and a third team now got into Bagheera, that truck, you took it to Fort Wayne.
Okay.
Because it needed a draw curtain around the front.
Yes.
And I think the water heater was leaking.
Okay.
You drove it back from Fort Wayne, so 300 miles round trip. They get 40 miles down the road after they get into the truck, and they had a radiator hose blow.
Yeah.
On their very first load.
Yeah.
Again, how far do we drive these trucks before we say, okay, it's perfect? It doesn't happen. It's impossible.
Yeah. Yeah, those are rough situations, and it's not like we have cheap trucks or whatever. It's industry wide. I mean, you go online right now and look at people that are in brand new trucks at mega carriers that are saying like, I want my old 2018 Freightliner back because of X, Y, or Z. We've got teams in trucks right now. It's like, all right, well, this team's doing good. They're making good money, and we could absolutely put them into a brand new truck or whatever and flop them over, and they're like, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
My truck's running great. We're not having any problems with it. We're not going to move it out of it at all.
I know all the quirks in this truck.
Yep.
Well, how long were we down when we got that brand new Western Star?
Yeah.
I shouldn't say how long were we down. We when you gave us that truck, you had a punch list of things that need to be addressed by the sleeper manufacturer.
Yes.
Based out of Fort Wayne, Texas. Fort Worth, Texas. As soon as I said that, I go, that doesn't sound right. Out of Fort Worth, Texas. And then we drove it for a couple of months before we were able to get through there, and we found additional things that needed to be taken care of.
Yeah.
And whether it was at Fort Worth, or with the Western Star dealership, and that's just new trucks.
Yeah.
Period. It's not. There's something about these trucks. No two are the same. Exact same model. But you might find a switch for something in different places.
Yeah.
And they add on top of that these are custom sleepers. They're not like your Ford Explorer that rolls off the line and every single one is the same. They're custom sleepers. Even in my experience before coming here to Hyfield in a custom sleeper, where we had the fleet I ran for had strictly Freightliner Cascadias, no two were the same.
Yeah.
Where the switches things were all different in all the trucks. So it's just the nature of the beast in the trucking industry.
Yeah, 100%.
It truly is.
100%. And a lot of our stuff too, like we buy trucks in bulk. So our VINs will be one digit off from each other.
Sure.
Same will happen with like SPAR heaters. You'll have two SPAR heaters. Serial numbers are a digit off from each other. And the very first winter fails. And the next one, and the other one does fine, and it never needs touched for 3 or 4 years.
Right.
It's too like in part. Some of it's just numbers, right? So you think about a fridge. Refrigerators fail occasionally, but usually they last a long time.
Yeah.
Well, when we're buying 30 refrigerators over the course of 8 months, because that's the number of trucks we're buying, and they all have refrigerators in them, we're bound to have a couple that fail.
Sure.
You know,
certainly.
So it's funny because
Certainly.
if you talk to a lot of our teams, they would probably say like, no, we don't have issues. The problem is what you and I are seeing is everything.
We're seeing the outliers.
We're seeing
really
everything. We're seeing the fridge that fails.
Yeah.
You know, the under counter fridge. We've had like 3 fail.
I'm not a fan of those fridges, honestly.
Well, and outside of the doesn't matter. So
I'm not a fan because I'm tall and they're short.
They are short, yeah.
But they're deep. So in order for me to see
wide.
deep and wide. Sorry. Anyway, but in order for me to see what's in the bottom of the freezer on the bottom shelf of the fridge, I gotta get down on the floor to see what's inside them.
100%.
Otherwise, they work great. So I wasn't saying I wasn't a fan because they don't work properly. It's just they're not comfortable for me to actually get in and see what's in it. So what I would do is make Melissa do it. Period. End of story.
Well, and you should have Annie because she's short.
I haven't translated all of her barks yet.
Okay. Well, that's one of those things too. Like the under counter refrigerator. We'll talk about that for a second because we have a lot of them in the fleet. All of the bathroom trucks have them because that's space optimization.
Space saving. Yeah.
So they are actually larger than the upright fridges. And again, we've had like 3 fail in the past decade of running
Really?
these
Only
things.
3?
Only 3. And and generally when the ones that have failed, only half fails. Like the 12-volt side fails or the 110-volt side fails. It's not the whole thing's dead. When I look at the Dometics, or the Norcolds rather, the Norcolds, which are the upright refrigerator that's a little more traditional RV style. Oh man, you get one of those that's 3 or 4 years old, you're replacing it.
Done.
So if we keep a truck for 5 years, we're all replacing it. Period. You know, it's like, and you look at a $2,500 a fridge. They, like that's just countless, tons and tons of those things we've replaced. So I mean, it's funny because it's like, it seems like that's a big problem because we're seeing it all the time. But the reality is, the average team doesn't see that.
Yeah.
No, there are some teams that have had, hey, we have 3-4 issues. We're doing that right now. We have a team, they've had 3-4 issues with their truck, and we're switching them to a different truck. And then we're going to take the time to try to figure out their old truck.
Right. That's going to be fun.
It is. But that's one of the nice things about having so many trucks is we're able to actually do that. We're able to pivot. If it's not happening, we can move you to another truck. Because every now and then you buy a lemon. It just is what it is.
It happens.
Yeah.
Yeah. Think about the products that we're using too. They're designed to go into a moving vehicle, whether it's an RV or a truck.
Correct.
There are still a lot of failures from the vibration going down the road, or from the potholes that we hit. We were on the 100%. Phone the other day when I hit a pothole and you heard me hit the pothole through the phone.
Yeah.
So those things just can't be engineered for sometimes without increasing the price of the product by so much. It's just not worth buying.
Absolutely. And then there's a whole section of it too where it's like a lot of the stuff we use is RV grade because they don't make a heavier duty version of it.
Yeah.
So like a Norcold refrigerator, for example, is an RV product.
And it's an RV product that's designed for RVs that aren't doing 150,000 miles a year.
Yeah.
They're not being used constantly. They might be used for
that's the thing.
Maybe a month out of the year.
Absolutely.
20, versus
30 days.
24/7, 365 mostly.
And packed completely full and opened several times a day. It's just a lot of use.
It is. It is. So
if you look at it by hour, they're expending their full lifespan just really fast.
Really fast. Yeah. We're not giving them a chance. They're not designed for that long-term use. And I want to use the word abuse, but we're not abusing them.
Yeah.
We're just using them for more than they were ever designed for.
Absolutely. And you see this too, like with RVs. So my family, we had a family member that sold RVs, and we have a little small RV ourselves, little van camper thing. And when you talk to, but he sold RVs, and when he would get someone that's full-time, so they live in their RV full-time,
sure.
And there's a lot of people that do it, especially retirees. They, travel the whole country, see grandkid on the West Coast, grandkid on the East Coast. They never care about their actual kids. It's always just the grandkids.
Just the grandkids, yeah. They spend enough time with their actual kids. We're done with you.
Absolutely. And so, it's a lifestyle. There's a lot of people that do it. I've got some friends that do it. But getting insurance for those is extremely difficult because the insurance companies know an RV is not meant to be lived in.
Right.
If you live in an RV, you can get a 20-year loan on it, but that thing's not lasting 20 years.
Right.
You can't, and they know that the more you use it, the more susceptible it is to damage, to flooding, to fires, etc. And so a lot of insurance companies don't want to
take on that risk.
Yeah, they don't want to take all that risk. So people either lie and say, oh, no, it's not full-time, and they full-time end it anyways, or they'll get the full-time insurance, and it's just pay through the nose for it.
I never thought about that.
That insurance world is super interesting.
It really is.
Eric went and found it's La Compagnie. The airline is LA COMPAGNIE. Compagnie.
Excuse me.
I have no idea. Anyways, $2,600 round trip. So JetBlue's undercutting them. They know their competition. Yeah. Thank you, Eric, for that. For those of y'all who don't know, when we say like Eric's this or Buttermilk or Melissa's this, they sit just outside of the camera, and they listen to us, and they laugh, and they make fun of us. But Eric's waving now. Everybody say hi, Eric.
Hi, Eric.
Hi, Eric.
Hi, Eric.
And they send us things like when we have a question or we throw an idea out there that's like, oh, I don't know that. A lot of times they're going to be sending us something on our text or on our iPad or something. So,
I got a confession to make.
Yes, my son.
The name of the bartender at Nilo in Dallas.
Yes.
I forgot it.
Oh.
So as we were talking about that, I sent Buttermilk a text real quick, and I said, hey, what was the bartender's name?
Oh, yeah.
And she said, Ryan.
Yeah.
So a lot of times we're getting information from them. They are our research department.
Absolutely. Research in real time.
Yes.
Yes. So we want to thank them for their help. They definitely help make us seem smarter than we actually are. And
now they're high-fiving each other.
Yeah, no.
They should. They should.
Yeah.
We probably couldn't do this show without them. Melissa feeds me dinner before I come here every night when we record.
That's true.
I mean, I could feed myself, but she does such a better job than I could.
I see that. No. They definitely make all this easy, a lot smoother. So we appreciate them as well. I get a question for you.
I'm listening.
What are you going to be doing, say, March 30th through maybe April 1st?
I've got a doctor's appointment March 30th, actually. That's what I'll be doing. I got the alert today, the reminder. March 30th, doctor's appointment. Oh, I should probably reschedule that because I will be in Louisville, Kentucky, attending the Mid-America Truck Show along with my friend Jer Bear, a.k.a. Expedite Boogie, my other friend Patrick, a.k.a. Patrick.
Yes.
We'll be there at the Panther booth, is my understanding, representing Panther, talking to folks about Panther and Hyfield trucking. I hear it's a great show. I've never been there. I hear it's an amazing show.
It's a spectacle. It's huge. It's I don't remember how many square feet. It's ridiculous.
Nice.
You're going to wear comfortable shoes. This is not the time to look fancy. Wear comfortable shoes that you can walk in.
Okay.
Don't wear brand new shoes. You want well broken in, comfortable shoes because it is miles of walking.
Let me ask you a question.
Yes.
I'll be there in my truck. Do I got to find some like the TA or somewhere south of Louisville? No, that's Nashville. There's a TA south of Louisville.
Yeah.
Do I need to Florence? No, that's Cincinnati. That's further.
It's Florence.
Anyway,
You're right.
I've just got my cities. I haven't been on the road in too long.
Louisville? That's Glendale.
Louisville.
That's way too far.
So do I need to find somewhere to park at a truck stop and catch an Uber over to the show? Or
You do not need to do that. You need to go to...
So if you go to truckingshow.com, tap on the Attend tab at the very top.
Yes.
And it gives you directions and also shows you where trucking is.
Passenger vehicles at the Mid-America Truck Show is going to be $10 a day. If you want to park, there's some RV spots are $50 with no hookups or $75 with electric hookups. And there's if you go online, there's a phone number to call to reserve those. So the prices are reasonable. I mean, Mid-America Truck Show, especially, there's so many vendors that go to Louisville that hotel prices are through the roof. So that's actually not bad at all.
They've got maps for the show, where parking is and all that, those types of things. Cardinal Stadium has truck parking, which is not that far away. Passenger vehicles are not permitted, so you won't have a bunch of four-wheelers in there with you.
30 acres of truck parking. Shuttle to and from the expo center during show hours. Free for semis and combos. Thanks to their sponsors, TA, Travel Centers of America, and Caterpillar. Wow, TA is going to have shower trailers out there, too.
Wow, that's impressive.
I'm super impressed, actually.
That is impressive.
Cool.
Sweet.
They really do it up fun, nice. It's a lot of fun. It's a really big show. They have shuttles, like you said, back and forth if you're in your truck. We're going to be in the West Wing with the Panther booth. There's going to be a tractor there for Panther. You'll see us. And it is a lot of fun. If you show up in a car, there is a fee to park. If you haven't signed up for the show yet, go online and sign up for it. It's cheaper right now. It was free, but now there's a little fee attached to it because it's getting close to the day. And then if you show up day of, there's also another fee that you have to pay to get in. But it's not a lot of money. We're talking very, very inexpensive. It's a lot of fun. They have a concert on Friday night, I believe.
I got to jump in and add something here, Patrick.
Go for it.
So there are 2 places to park your semi-truck.
Yes.
If you park at the Kentucky Expo Center parking lot, you are going to pay $30 a day to park your tractor trailer.
Wow.
If you park at the Cardinal Stadium truck parking, the one you mentioned earlier, that's the 30 acres with the free truck parking and the shuttle to and from the Expo Center, that is free at Cardinal Stadium. So there are 2 options for tractor trailers, $30 a day or free with a shuttle. Just want to make sure that's clear.
I've done both. I'm telling you right now, the truck parking at the actual expo, it's every bit as much walking as it is walking from your truck parking at the Cardinal Stadium to the shuttle.
I believe it.
And the shuttle drops you off right at the front door.
I believe it.
Save your $30.
I would just hate to see people drive to the Expo Center and be told $30 a day when we said it was free.
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
just want to make sure we were on the same page there as far as what's free and what's $30 a day. That's a lot of money for parking a truck.
Definitely appreciate that.
So,
yeah.
Yeah.
It's a lot of fun. Come out and see us. We're going to have Expedite Chicks will be there, Expedite Boogie, Lokeshire Expediting Adventures.
Lokeshire Expediting Adventures?
Them two.
Okay.
Eric and myself will be out there. We're bringing some staff members to come out there and say hi as well. It's a fun show. Also, in July, the 21st to the 22nd, is Expedite Expo, Crossroads of America Truck Show in Fort Wayne, Indiana, at the Allen County War Memorial Coliseum. It is free to attend. Even day of the show, it's still free to attend. Parking is $16 for a semi-truck, and I think it's $8 for a car. It is it's a lot of fun. That show, we are not going to be at the Panther booth. We're going to be in our own booth. Hyfield Trucking is going to have their own booth there. It's going to be a lot of fun. We're really bringing some fun stuff. We're going to be sponsoring Casino Night, which will be on Friday night. We're going to be throwing an after party after that.
So Matt's is a new experience for me, but Expo is not. I can vouch for Expo for being a good time.
Yes, it's
really good time.
It's a great chance to come out and meet us. We bring our entire staff out. We're gonna have a ton of drivers there, so you can talk to us and get a feel for us. You can also talk to our drivers, get a feel for them. They'll tell you the truth. They'll tell you the good, the bad, the ugly about us, and then you can make an informed decision, because I think we have the best thing going on, but it never hurts to do your research.
No, always do your research. And we've got staff that's worked for these different carriers as well that can tell you about their experience with the carriers. And again,
100%. We're
not going to tell you lies. We're going to tell you the truth.
Absolutely. And you can vet us up against our drivers.
Yes, you can.
It's a great experience. It's a lot of fun. If you're already driving, you're probably going to meet your friends there. Talk to your best buddy. It's a great that you talk to on the phone that you'd never actually get to meet.
Yep.
Tell them to meet you there. It's a blast. Jerry, are you missing anything?
Like, subscribe, and leave a comment. Share this with your friend.
You can find this video on YouTube. If you're watching this and just heard me say that, you're probably watching it on YouTube.
Yeah.
We do have an audio-only podcast version, too. So if you're cruising down the road and want to listen, we have an audio version as well. You can find on all your favorite podcast apps. You can also find us on social media.
At
Facebooks.
Yep, at Outer Belt Podcast.
You can also email us with your questions or just get a hold of us or comments.
At the Outer Belt Podcast at gmail.com.
You can also always leave comments under the video here on YouTube or here on this podcast. Leave us a review on this podcast, too, to help us get some traction.
Absolutely. If you like what you have to say and you want more people to hear it, share it with everybody you know. We would greatly appreciate it. We are a new podcast. We're getting better, I think, finding our rhythm, kind of getting our mojo figured out. But we definitely want more people to hear about what we do. We think we bring some level of entertaining when you're driving down the road. At least we hope we do. If we don't, leave us a comment, say that.
Yeah, let us know.
We want to hear about it.
Please.
If you have any topics you want us to talk about, discuss, things that you've heard about, and you're like, hey, I want to hear these guys' take on it. Please, by all means, drop us a line. We don't care if it's trucking, if it's social media related. If you want us to review a movie, if you want us to review a comedy special,
whatever it is.
Yes, whatever it is, you just let us know. We'll be happy to.
A book? We'll have Melissa read it.
Yes, we'll have a special guest for that one.
The Outer Belt Podcast Book Club featuring Buttermilk.
Yes, it's an audiobook only
Audiobook
club because
only,
they're driving down the road.
She's got no time to read. I work her too hard.
We'll have to send her to Cracker Barrel to pick up the books. Does Cracker Barrel still do that?
Barrel?
No, don't.
The books
does
on
Cracker
tape.
Barrel still do the books on tape and then
maybe.
books on CD and then you give it back when you're done listening to it and they get another one?
We'll send her out to the TA in West Jefferson. I'm sure they've got them.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm sure they got them still.
That's a good little
Books
hike,
on
too.
CD.
Books on. Do trucks even have CD players anymore?
They do.
Okay.
They do have CD players. Yeah.
My Jeep doesn't at all, and so it's like, okay.
Trucks are a little behind.
Had to throw my whole CD collection.
They
out.
don't have CarPlay. They're a little behind. They got Bluetooth and CD players and AM/FM radios with the Weather Channel. And if you pay for a subscription, they've got Sirius satellite radio too.
I do like Sirius. Seriously. Yeah. Get some good stuff, good content on there.
Are we done? Is it a wrap?
I think it's a wrap. Everybody, stay safe.
Anybody out there have anything else? Annie, you want to add anything? Nope, she's asleep.
Everybody stay safe. Make good decisions. We'll see you next week.
Don't leave money on the table.
And keep those wheels a turning.